There have been more than a dozen entries in the Assassin's Creed series, including spin-offs, companion apps, and even a movie, so it's easy to see how the franchise has evolved over the years. Each new entry has introduced new mechanics, complete overhauls, and new modern twists. So, with the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows, it's time to look at the biggest changes Shadows has made to the AC formula. Shadows features dual protagonists who each excel at different parts of the AC gameplay formula, with Naoe being a sneaky, stealthy shinobi, while Yasuke is a samurai who flourishes in open combat. While this isn't the first time Assassin's Creed has had two protagonists, with 2015's Assassin's Creed Syndicate giving you both control of Jacob and Evie Fry, the difference is that in Syndicate, the Fry twins still largely had the same capabilities, even if they had their own unique specialties. In Shadows, however, Naoe and Yasuke play entirely differently. Naoe is very much a traditional Assassin's Creed heroine, able to parkour across rooftops, scale large buildings with relative ease, and do graceful dives into haystacks. Yasuke meanwhile trades in Naoe's grace, mobility, and agility for being an absolute hulking Goliath. As Assassin's Creeds have become more of an RPG with recent entries, stealth has persisted as a core pillar of gameplay, with Shadows bringing stealth to the forefront when playing as Naoe, and as such, there are numerous new stealth mechanics to take advantage of. Shadows isn't just the name of the new game, but it's also a new mechanic to get used to as well. Standing in areas bathed in light from the sun or torches will make your character easy to spot. But if you stick to the shadows or infiltrate a castle in the middle of the night, it will be much easier to sneak around without being detected. You can also take out various light sources to decrease the illumination of a certain area to help you get away with assassinations without being seen. You've been able to crouch in Assassin's Creed for many years now, but Shadows takes it one step further by enabling your character to lay prone. This makes it harder to see your character in grass that you otherwise would be spotted in when just crouching. You can also crawl underneath buildings and even lay down in shallow bodies of water to stay hidden. Naoe also has the option to grab people instead of just assassinating them. This lets you move a target before knocking them out non-lethally. This is incredibly useful for moving enemies in spots where their bodies won't be found, and is much faster than moving their bodies after incapacitating them. You can also use this as a non-lethal takedown on civilians or enemies instead of going for the assassination. Though it's worth noting, once they're knocked out, you can assassinate them. Immersive Mode is a new addition that lets you play the game with characters speaking their native language, either Japanese or Portuguese, with subtitles and proper lip syncing.
Diogo, espera aqui. Não digas nada.
This is in contrast to prior games in the series that featured characters who spoke English with a contextually appropriate accent. Assassin's Creed Shadows features a full 4-season weather system, which significantly transforms the entire open world with each season. This is more than just set dressing too. Ponds and lakes can freeze over, meaning you can no longer hide beneath the surface of that water. Bushes can lose their leaves and become useless as hiding locations, and enemies will also behave differently depending on how cold or wet it is outside. The benefit to everything freezing over is you can now walk on water, though it is a bit slippery. The Follow Road feature was first introduced in Assassin's Creed Origins, so that when you were riding horses, you can tell your horse to travel on its own towards your destination. Every game since then has included this feature, until Shadows. You can ride your horse, but there is no Follow Road feature this time. Instead, you can use Pathfinder mode to highlight the way to your next objective, but you'll have to have both hands on the sticks the whole time in order to get there. In Assassin's Creed Origins, the ability to call in a bird companion and survey the area from above was added. It has been included in every game since, even Assassin's Creed Mirage, but no longer. There is no bird companion to call in Shadows, so there is no way to leap into the sky and get an aerial view of the area. Instead, Naoe gets access to Eagle Vision, which can be used to spot enemies and objects of interest through walls. This can also be used along with her ability to tag objects and valuables, which will put a marker above their head that will persist even when Eagle Vision isn't active. As another way to further differentiate the characters, Yasuke does not have Eagle Vision, making stealth even more difficult for him. Another thing introduced in Assassin's Creed Origins was the ability for our main character to climb just about any surface, instead of needing to rely on specific handholds in the environment. They rolled this back in Assassin's Creed Mirage to help evoke that classic style of Assassin's Creed, but Shadows is the first RPG-style Assassin's Creed game to eschew this feature. You'll now need to find different paths to climb steep hills, as you'll just slide down them otherwise. Also, not all walls or buildings can be climbed automatically. Some even require the use of Naoe's grappling hook to scale properly. Speaking of the grappling hook, Naoe begins the game trained in the use of a grappling hook. She can use it to climb straight to the top of an overhanging ledge or ceiling, and she can also swing from it. This technically isn't the first time a grappling hook has been featured in the series, as Jacob and Evie in Syndicate used an industrialized grappling hook to scale up and between buildings, sort of like Batman in the Arkham games. Many structures in Assassin's Creed Shadows are built with materials that are far less sturdy than what we're used to seeing. A wall that can conceal your character behind a corner 1 minute can be blown to bits during a scuffle if a fight breaks out. This means that if you're spotted during an infiltration and you decide to fight outright where you are, you'll unlikely be able to return to the exact same hiding spots again, as that bush or box you were using might be completely unrecognizable now. You can also use this to your advantage though, by breaking fragile walls and opening up an area for combat if you decide to cause havoc. Many previous entries in the series have allowed the protagonist to call in backup from their local assassin chapter, but something that's new and different in Shadows is the ability to recruit named NPCs as allies and then call them in during battle. Some of them excel in non-lethal takedowns, while others might create distractions. The town building mechanic from Valhalla is back, but rather than doing Viking raids for resources, you get them from guarded areas and castles, which replenish with each seasonal shift. Base building is also much deeper this time around, as the bird's eye view allows you to place your buildings exactly where you want them on the plot of land provided. Not to mention you can design and decorate the buildings to make the hideout feel even more like home. And those were just some of the biggest changes you'll find when booting up Assassin's Creed Shadows. Let us know what you think of it all in the comments below, and for much, much more on the world of Assassin's Creed, stick with IGN.
街中で小便した時のあのばあさんの驚き音来たら